seagulls are greeting you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to our service this morning. We are so glad to have Bobby Sue back with us this morning. Yay! For those who don't know, she had a bit of a nasty fall which ended up with major surgery. And it's so good to have you back with us. And I know that she has given us a card to say thank you. And I won't read it out, but I will put it down here for everybody to have a look at after worship. So thank you.
I'm sure we'll try.
Today's theme is, it's the second in a 3-week series of Unending, and it's Unending Passion. So we'll explore that later on with our readings and our sermon, but for now the opportunities to engage in worship, in worship and other things this week. On Monday night is yoga with Ryan at 6:30. Yeah, there's some people coming to that and really enjoying it, so thank you. And also we have Friday night, we have worship at 7 o'clock. And Friday night worship, if you haven't been, is free and, how would you describe it, Jonathan?
Free.
Free, there you go, that's the word of the morning.
That's free. And more passion.
We're very passionate this morning.
Passionate.
We're talking about passion, we're very passionate. But we'll be even more passionate on Friday night.
Yes.
For worship. Kathy has reminded us that there's a letter writing campaign for Health and Human Services to support the proposal that they put through to protect healthcare for trans and LGBT community. The link for that has been in the newsletter for the last couple of weeks. There is how many days left? 20 days left to sign up to it. And you know, those who are opposed to it have been signing up in masses. So if we could please get out the word on that, that would be fantastic. It's important that every single person has the healthcare that they need in this world, no matter who they are. So, I don't know about you, but I am ready to worship. Whew, I'm so ready. Alpha and Omega. Will you rise as you are able?
Alpha and Omega.
move around this one. As we come to worship today, I know a lot has happened this week, and I want to invite us just for a moment to breathe. I read something this week that when we breathe and really take in what's around us, it really centers us. So I want us to breathe together. In and out. Breathing in all the strength of the Spirit. And breathing out everything that troubles our hearts. God, we come before you just as we are. We come before you to worship. We come before you to be in community with those who are joining us online, those who join us later in the week, and those who are in the building. We come together to join our voices in praise, but also in prayer. We ask your blessing on us and this service. As we learn more about passion, using Jesus as an example of how to live a passion-filled life. Open our hearts, our spiritual eyes to all that you have for us this day. And help us to be the best that we can be in worshiping your name. Amen.
Amen.
This morning, we want to take a moment to remember. 21 years ago was 9/11. A moment in the history of this country, and I was in Australia at the time, but a moment in this country that changed so much, but also changed it for the world. Because I don't know if you realized how much the world journeyed that day with you. And so as we light a candle this morning, we can have a moment of silence. The silence is to remember the lives lost that day, but also the lives lost after that day, through depression, through long illness, but also to remember the lives that were so deeply affected and impacted. When we have an event that changes the course of our lives, we should never forget, because it's from those huge events that we learn so much and we move forward. Please remember with me. God, we know that so many lives were impacted through the death of loved ones, but also through trauma because of their religion, because of previous trauma. However, those lives are still impacted. May your Spirit wash over them. May they feel the support of so many from around the world, lifting them when they can't lift themselves. Help us to remember the beautiful, bright souls that were extinguished. But also, God, help us to remember how in the days afterwards, this country found unity. This country came together. help us to get back to that place. To care for each other, just as we did after this horrific event. In your name I pray. Amen.
First reading this morning is Reason and Passion, the 15th, by Khalil Gibran. And the priestess spoke again and said, "Speak to us of reason and passion." And he answered, saying, "Your soul is oftentimes a battlefield, upon which your reason and your judgment wage war against passion and your appetite. Would that I could be the peacemaker in your soul, that I might turn the discord and the rivalry of your elements into oneness and melody. But how shall I, unless you yourselves be also the peacemakers? Nay, the lovers of all your elements? Your reason and your passion are the rudder and the sails of your seafaring soul. If either your sails or our rudder be broken, you can but toss and drift, or else be held at a standstill in mid-seas. For reason ruling alone is a force confining, and passion, unattended, is a flame that burns to its own destruction. Therefore let your soul exalt your reason to the height of passion, that it may sing. And let it direct your passion with reason, that your passion may live through its own daily resurrection, and like the phoenix rise above its own ashes. I would have you consider your judgment and your appetite, even as you would two beloved guests in your house. Surely you would not honor one guest above the other, for he who is more mindful of one loses the love and the faith of both. Among the hills, when you sit in the cool shade of the white poplars, sharing the peace and serenity of distant fields and meadows, then let your heart say in silence, God rests in reason. And when the storm comes and the mighty wind shakes the forest, and thunder and lightning proclaim the majesty of the sky, then let your heart say in awe, God moves in passion. And since you are a breath in God's sphere and a leaf in God's forest, you too should rest in reason and move in passion.
So that moving in passion, you can do now if you rise as you are able with us to sing.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Hail Jesus, you're my King.
Your life brings me to sing.
Your life brings me to
My
sing.
Lord, He's not praise you all my days.
I will praise you all my days.
You're perfect in all your ways.
You're perfect in all your ways.
Hail Jesus, you're my Lord.
Hail Jesus, you're my Lord.
I will obey your word.
I will obey your word.
I want to see
Run the words together.
Porque Él es digno. That's it. Porque Él es digno. De adoración. De adoración. Magnify Jesus. Magnify the Lord. Magnify Jesus. Magnify the Lord. For He is worthy. Yes, He is. For He is worthy. For He is worthy. To be praised. To be praised. Mi Cristo es digno. Mi Cristo es digno. Mi Cristo es digno. We come to magnify. We come to magnify. We come to magnify. Yes, we come to magnify. 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 The one que adoración.
Amen. Please have a rest.
The second reading is from Colossians 3, verses 23 through 25. Whatever you do, work heartily, as for the Lord and not for humanity, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward. You are serving the Lord Christ. For the wrongdoer will be paid back for the wrong they have done, and there is no partiality. Here ends the reading.
So I said that today is the second in a sermon series called Unending. And today is Unending Passion. And Jackie very well, thank you, read that very short, long reading at the beginning from Khalil Gibran, talking to us about passion and explaining what passion is. But before I get there, I want to remind us what we talked about last week. And so for those of you who weren't here last week, those of you who joined us online and weren't able to join last week, we talked about unending forgiveness. And there is so much in our lives that we do that we wish we hadn't, or others do and they wish they hadn't. And sometimes we get stuck in a place of non-forgiveness. And so the reminder was to have unending forgiveness. And that's about 70 times 7 and even more times of offering forgiveness. And that forgiveness is not just about everybody else. It's about forgiving ourselves as well. Because sometimes we do things and we hold on to it, and it really can affect the joy that we have in our lives, because it just restricts us in our being. So that was unending forgiveness, and today is unending passion. And the short reading that we had, I'll go there first, the short one from Colossians, reminds us to work heartily, as if for God and not for humanity.
Right.
And I think it's a good reminder to us that when we do anything, whatever we do, if we do it to please other people, we're not really looking at our passion. We're just looking at functioning and making other people happy. And when we work within our passion, We don't need to do any of that because we're working for God.
Right.
And that passion can drive us in so many ways. And sometimes we've lost our passion. I'll talk a little bit about that later on. But I just want to remind us that this is about unending passion. So this is not just passion for one project. This is not just passion for one day. I'm talking about unending passion. So I want to define things before I go any further, just in case we're unclear on what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about passion, I'm talking about strong and barely controllable emotion. Cecil, basically. Those of you who have met, no, and I mean that in really, he is the epitome of working with passion, because he brings his whole self and everything that he loves to everything that he does. And so if you want to see an example of it and want to work towards it, you do not have to be quite as elaborate and excitable. But the joy that comes from him can come from us in smaller ways. But if it comes from the heart, and it's like an uncontrollable emotion, that's the passion I'm talking about. And before she left, my sister Mary Jo, who's gone on to bigger things, bless her heart, she did the slides before she left for this week. And I first saw this and I thought, oh. And then I thought, my gosh, how poignant. That the slide, the letters are saying mission, and they're just about to be tipped over to say passion. And mission is an important assignment carried out for political, religious, or commercial uses, travel, whatever it is. But it's this important thing that we have to do. And it seems to me that if we take the mission, the important thing that we need to do, and turn around and do it with passion, not only will we enjoy it more, but the results will be a whole lot better. And you know that reading from Khalil Gibran this morning, defining passion. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but the line really that stuck out for me was, your soul is oftentimes a battlefield upon which your reason and your judgment wage war against your passion and your appetite. So you have here your reason, this is what I should do, this is what I can afford to do, this is what I've got time to do, and then the passion is, but I really love it and I want to do more, and they wage war against each other. And I hadn't really thought about that reason. And you know, the image that he has of it being like a rudder. And if one is doing too much, then the boat doesn't go. But equally so, if the other part of the boat doesn't do the equal amount, it's going to go as well. We do need reason, but we need a balance with passion. Jesus walked this earth with true passion. He was on a mission. He was on a mission to bring God's message to the world. And he did it with such passion. Now, we don't read about him jumping up and down and getting all excited and putting flags out and waving stuff. But if you read every single story about him in the Gospels, you will hear the underlying passion that comes through every single story. Because what he's saying to everybody, yeah, you've got all these rules and everything, and well done, yeah, you followed them. And this is what he said. Hearing that Jesus had silenced the Sadducees, the Pharisees got together, and one of them, an expert in the law, tested him with this question. Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus replied, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and the greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All of the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. And so every time he spoke, he did it with passion because he wanted to move people from hanging everything on the law to hanging everything onto these 2 commandments. And it was never ending. He was doing it right up till he died. He wanted to see people turn their lives around to a place of joy, to a place of being empowered, not disenfranchised. It doesn't matter who we are. We should never, ever be disenfranchised by anybody, because that's not the law. The law is to uphold, to love as you would love the Lord your God and yourself. And sometimes, a note here, we do not have enough passion about this, about loving ourselves, because we have been disenfranchised in whatever way. Have you ever seen a child see a little wiggly worm? And how excited they get when they see the worm. And they want to tell everybody about this worm. It's wiggling, Mum! Look at it! Look at it go! It's going like that. And they get so excited. I think the passion that they have in that moment is the passion that we can have within us if we allow ourselves to have it. Some of us have lost our passion. I see that often. But it's interesting, it's always a dangerous thing to talk about the Gators on a Sunday morning after they've lost. But I'm going to go there, sorry. Last year during the football season, those of you who don't know, I am not an American football fan. 4 hours of trying to just run to it 2 inches doesn't. But I know that a lot of our congregation are football fans. And last season, there were a lot of games where I heard people say, for goodness sake, get your passion back. Let's do this, let's win. And I understand that. Didn't happen last night. Sorry. When one member of a team gets passionate, sometimes it can rub on the next team member, the manager, whoever. And if we are not afraid to share that unending passion, we hopefully can inspire other people to be just as passionate. You know, when you watch young girls that were interviewed after Serena played that incredible match the other week, and although she lost, she fought till the bitter end. There were young girls interviewed, and those girls have been inspired by the passion with which Venus and Serena have played their entire tennis career. They were passionate about their sport, and they wanted to play the best that they could. But by being that passionate, they have inspired thousands upon thousands of other people. And we can do that too. So if you're going to change your life, how do you stir up that passion? Say you're having I'm like knocking on the older side of 45, and I don't have a lot left in me. The passion, as I said, doesn't have to be jumping up and down, but finding something that really brings you joy and that you can share, that you can do, and you can put your whole heart in it. I read an article from Better Up that said the secret to finding your passion is not looking, but doing. Not looking. You can't look somewhere else for your passion. You have to do it. And they suggest some steps that you can find to follow your passion. I'll put them all in the newsletter tomorrow, but I just want to share a couple of them. Create a personal vision. Determine your values and find your true north. Make a list of the things you love to do. And also assess the things that you don't love. Because sometimes it's the things that we don't love that we keep doing over and over again, and we wonder where our passion's gone. So if we assess the things we don't want to do, don't like doing, don't love doing, and bring in the things that we love, I'm sure that we can find that passion. I'm sure that we can live out an unending passion. So my prayer for all of us this week is that we can tap into that we love, that we can tap into our faith, that we can tap into whatever it is within us that we can be passionate about and share it with everybody else. Amen. We always say in MCCs around the world, come just as you are. Not how other people expect you to come to worship. Not how other people expect you to dress or to be. But come just as you are. Let's sing together.
Come just as you are. Hear the Spirit call. Come just as you are. Come and see. Come receive. Come and live forever. Life everlasting, strength for today. Taste the living water and never thirst again. Come just as you are. Hear the Spirit call. Come just as you are. Come receive Christ the King. Come and live forevermore.
God, as we come in community before you, we have so many who have prayers, have needs, and have praises. This morning we lift before you those who are suffering with health problems. We think of Grimesy with her back, Margaret with toothache, Jim's Tim with toothache. But we also think of Michelle, who's struggling with mental health issues. Help us, God, to support these people as they go through the problems that they are going through. We ask your Spirit to rest upon each one of them. Let them feel the power of your healing, but also the power of a community that envelops them with love as they heal. We think of Penny and Bobby Sue as they continue to heal from their recent surgery or hospital stays. Sometimes we get so impatient and we want to heal on day one. And sometimes it takes a lot longer. Give both Penny and Bobby Sue the strength and the patience that they need to get through this journey. And we are thankful that both of them are out of hospital and on that road to recovery. We give you praise, God. We also think of Calla, who has upcoming knee replacement surgery on Wednesday. God, we know that sometimes these surgeries are quite scary for us. But we ask for your strength to fill her with confidence that after that initial pain and struggle after the surgery, that she will have a better quality of life and be able to move around the beautiful acreage that she has, where she can enjoy sunsets, beautiful flowers, fruits and vegetables. As that sings to her soul, let it be singing, healing into her spirit also. And God, I lift up Lola, our dog, who is having both her legs operated on Thursday. This little pooch has been through so much over the last couple of months. I pray for strength for her, for strength and patience. She is a little bundle of energy, and she's going to have to take it slow. So I pray for strength for her, but also for the humans that have to look after her. Seeing our animals suffer is not easy. But just like Calla, I pray for Lola that she will be able to bound around a pasture after a few months. And God, I lift before you the family of the Queen. I know that through this time of grieving, it's also brought up times of great agitation for people who are dealing with colonialization. And God, we hold them in balance as we can grieve for the loss of this reigning monarch, but also the pain of the communities that have been affected by the rule that she governed over. May all who are affected by her death be given comfort and peace. But also may those affected by the colonization be given apology. May their pain be acknowledged. God, so much happens in our world. And as much as we try to do right all the time, the Queen reigned with such dignity and poise. There are still things that make people suffer. And each of us sees that often in our daily lives. And all of those things we lift before you. And I ask you, God, to help us to use our spiritual eyes to see the pain that is around us, and to help us to bring comfort, to bring apology, to bring forgiveness in whatever form is needed. I do lift up her family as they have to move swiftly into their next roles. May they be given light. May they be given support. May they truly follow your will, God. All of our prayers we lift to you in the name of all that is holy. Amen. As we come to communion, we remember that there was the tension at the time of the meal. You see, there's always tension. We like to think of everything as pretty and beautiful, but there's always tension for somebody. And this night that Jesus met with his disciples, there was the tension of what was about to come. And yet there was the beauty and the passion with which Jesus had served and that he brought to this table. MCCs around the world, we have an open communion. You don't have to be a member of this church or any church. The table is set because Jesus set it on that night. He set it to say, you are welcome, come just as you are. He took bread, he gave God thanks for it, and he blessed it. And then he broke it. And you know, in the breaking of the bread, he was reminding us that we would too be broken. And he shared it with them. Just as he took the cup and gave God thanks for it, blessed it, and said to them, take, drink, all of you. Because from this brokenness comes this message of unconditional love. That no matter how broke you feel, I will love you always. I invite you, whether you're online with your own elements or in the building, if you want to come forward and take of the elements. But if you don't and you just want to sit and reflect on what you've heard or whatever God is laying on your heart, that's what communion is. In unity, we're communing. For those who are taking of the elements, we'll take them together at the end when everybody has some. Let us eat bread and remember that sometimes we are broken. Let us drink from the cup, remembering that in our brokenness, we have unconditional love.
eternal praise in
Yes, indeed we do. As we get to the time where we're going to take up our offertory, we always give thanks in this place because there is so much that happens here during the week that we don't even hear about. And I have a huge thanks this week to Kathy and Sue for helping get the flooring ready for the small hall. They went and picked it up, and Kathy and I did our weightlifting for We do need some help after worship to move 12 more boxes. If anybody is willing to stay and help and do that, that would be fantastic.
Can they move it to one side?
Can they move it to one side? What, the 12?
No, the stuff.
No. They can move the 12. He's demanding, isn't he, this morning? But yes, thank you to that. But also thank you to Jackie for coming in. I thought I would have to come back and paint the trims, and she said, is there anything left in there? And I said, yeah, the door trims and stuff. Next morning she came and did it. So thank you so much. That was amazing. And started on the baseboards as well. So you see, never ask if there's anything left to be done. But I also want to lift up thanks to whoever our generous donors are. I love getting Amazon packages and I don't know they're coming because I never know what's going to be in them. And we have a wish list on Amazon, as most of you know. This week we got some soaps, which is fantastic. We got another gazebo, which we need for Pride, and also one of the sets of tables and chairs for our youth ministry that starts next month. So thank you to our generous donors, and thank you to all of you who give tirelessly of time, talent and treasure. That, you know, the board and myself, we know that we wouldn't be who we are without all of you. So with that, will you please rise as you are able, as we sing our last song this morning, and Kevin, I believe, is going to take the offertory, unless Jackie hasn't told him yet.
Pressing on the upward way, new lights are big.
forgot to say, the board meeting follows today's worship service. We'll probably have a 10-minute break. So those who are on the board need to stay. And the other thing is, I'm at a conference on Wednesday and Thursday this week. So my office hours won't be on Thursday because I'll be in meetings. As we go from this place, virtual place and physical place, may we find our passion. May we share our passion. May we live with unending passion. May the peace of God be with you.
Also with you.
Thank you.